died for. I mean, the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. And we got to look at states like Georgia that are better on the Second Amendment than we are. People are having to go to places like Utah and get concealed weapon permits so they can be recognized in other states because South Carolina is so restrictive. We got to stand up and be counted. You know, these politicians seem to think that these state house and state senate seats belong to them. They don't. They belong to you. But you got to go out there and get involved. You've got to get engaged. These primaries are crucial. This state senate is stacked with former Democrats. We've got to elect conservatives that believe in the Second Amendment. They're going to fight for your rights. They're going to stand beside you, not in front of you, not in your way. So I ask you to spread the word. We've got to grow our numbers. We got to get on Facebook. We got to get on social media. We got to get on Twitter. And I ask you to think about George Washington and think about Valley Forge and think about the fact that he had to go to his troops and tell them he couldn't feed them, he couldn't clothe them, he couldn't pay them, but they needed to re-enlist. We've got to continue to re-enlist in this cause of liberty because our freedoms are being taken from us. I mean, I thank God we've got a few congressmen up there in Washington that are just enough of them to push back this homeland security issue. I mean, you look at it. I mean, they continue to fund a lawless president who has no respect for our gun rights, no respect for our borders, and we've got a Congress that can do something about it. So call your congressmen, call your state house officials, and call your state senators, because what we've got right now is an unacceptable situation that only we can change. So I encourage you to continue to go out there and be mobilized. This battle, liberty, when you look at what our founders had to say about liberty, it's going to be constantly under assault. They knew it. I mean, goodness gracious, look at what Jefferson said about the blood of patriots and tyrants. They saw this day coming. We've been through this before. They're going to continue to try it, but right now I think we're under a greater threat than we've ever been in the history of our nation. And what we do in this next presidential election, this next congressional election, and these state house and senate races is crucial. But don't think the problem, and I'll say this, I want to, they tell you when you give speeches, drill things in over and over again so people remember. What I want you to remember, what I want you to listen to is South Carolina's broken. It's not just Washington. We ought to have constitutional carry in this state. If you can legally own a gun, you should be able to carry a gun. And these gun-free zones are a disaster. I would say they're America-free zones. They're freedom-free zones. They're liberty-free zones.
Kill zones.
That's what they are. That's exactly, they're kill zones. They're places where we cannot defend ourselves. And let me tell you, I've got my daughter just got engaged, which is, kind of heartbreaking. Dad sees that, and he sees the oldest daughter leaving. And her fiance is a police officer. And God love police officers. These men around here defending this Capitol. But you know what? We don't want a police state. We want to be able to defend ourselves. We need them to enforce the law. They shouldn't be here for our safety. They should be here for law enforcement. We should be allowed to protect ourselves. And these legislators in the State House and State Senate are stopping us from being able to do that. And I saw a pitchfork. Where's the pitchfork? Let me tell you. We ought to be here in pitchforks. We ought to be standing here saying we're not going to put up with it anymore. You're here. You're a part of the solution. There are folks out there that aren't paying attention. Listen, these basketball kids have basketball games today. People have so many things trying to distract them. They tell you, you're going to have to get in their face. You're going to have to remind them in a loving way that if they don't get involved, their freedoms are going to be lost. And we shouldn't be playing defense. We should be playing offense. We should be taking our freedoms back. We should be saying, hey, why can you not defend yourself? Why do you have to go to the state law enforcement division and say, Mother, may I please assert a right? And it's not just the federal constitution, it's the state constitution. That's the law of the land. And it's being ignored. So I don't want to belabor the point, but I do want to tell you this. God love you for being here. God bless you for being here. I mean, it's going to take God. I mean, God, we have the natural right to self-defense. It's more than a constitutional right. It's an inalienable right. We have a right to defend ourselves. So if you got legislators in here that don't understand it and don't believe it, let's replace them. I tell people, the Bible says to pray for those in authority, and I'm all for it, but then when it comes election time, if they won't listen, let's beat them. So let's get engaged, because this House and this Senate is up. Both houses are up for re-election in 2016. Now's the time to start getting organized. Facebook, Twitter, email. Everybody has people that will listen to you. Listen, all politics is local. Even the presidential candidates know this. All politics is local. People don't trust politicians. That's a good thing. But people trust you. So you talk to your friends, you talk to your neighbors, and you tell them how important this is. These primaries matter. They matter so much that my last U.S. Senate race, they decided to get Democrats to vote in the Republican primary. That's how they kept us out of a runoff, and that's how they kept the Fritz Holland's legacy in the U.S. Senate. But I got to tell you, we can fix this. You got to get engaged. Stay engaged. You guys are out here fighting. Go home, talk to 10 friends. Send the broadcast email. These email chains, stay in front of people. Stay in front of them. But God bless you. I thank you for being here today, and I really appreciate what you're doing for liberty. Stay in the fight. Thank you.